what this is about, and then I'll send you the recording so that you can look it over, and if you need to ask some questions, ask some questions. But let me preempt
Okay.
this with whatever you come up with. You got about a day to 2 days worth of work that you can do on it before you have to give it back to me. So I know that
Okay.
sucks. I normally don't do it like that, but they really don't want a lot of time and effort put into this because it doesn't it's not going to be used by anybody but their internal editors. But I don't want to
Yeah.
give them any website, anything that doesn't, you know, look like our brand. I don't want anybody
Yeah.
looking at that and say, "Oh, that's Design Mind did that."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
More importantly, I don't want anyone looking at me and you and
Yeah.
say we did that. you know. All right.
Right.
So let me give you the little history. Um, all this.
So I'm just wondering what's going on with the whole other part of it. Um, because right now they really just have JPEGs. We haven't, I don't know, is it being developed or?
No, no, they want a demo for
Mhm.
Friday. They want to be able to demo what the base page that you already did. Here, let me. They want to. Hold on. They want to demo. Come on. Yeah, okay. Should be able to see my screen now.
Mhm.
They want to be able to demo this filters with the visualizations and the tables. They
Mhm.
don't want, what I mean by demo is what I'm going to do is um, connect up filters on the left-hand side with visualizations in black and white. They're not going to get your colors, not going to get anything because what I told them that we need to have a final prototype and then you can do specs. I'm not going to
Right.
shortcut that,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
The reason why I told them that is I don't want us to start working on something, make it pretty enough for them, and then have them uh, say that's good enough. I'd rather go through the real process. We've done all this work,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's that. Uh, so what they want to do is where this visualization is, how it gets here is through a process called embedding. You've probably seen, like we were in Power BI, um,
Mhm.
we have these visuals. And you've seen these before or something like them. Here's one.
Yep.
Um, this one's not moving like it's supposed to, but this is a visual. We're taking visuals like these and embedding it into web pages. The web pages we're putting them in are, in this case, BioCentury's BCIQ page. The process
Yep.
to do that, the end result looks like uh, wrong. Yeah, no, no. There. The end result of it, just if you just took that one visual and embedded it, the end result looks like this.
Mhm.
Um, I can add. Uh, there's some problem with this one, but
Yeah, yeah. I've played with
yeah,
this.
you've
I
played
mean,
it before.
yeah. Okay.
Anyway, this one happened to die off. Um, they must have changed it or something like that. But anyway, so you've played with it before. To get the visual here, what you have to do is go through a process of embedding, and the embedding process looks like this. Um, there's things called workspace collections, which is basically another word of saying a group that you're
Mhm.
in. Um, there's workspaces, which is think of like um, think of it like a room full of whiteboards, and the room is this. The workspaces are whiteboards, and then what you draw on the whiteboard is the report.
Okay. Is what we're looking at right now the admin view?
Yes,
Okay.
looking at a shell that I wrote to make the embedding process work. So actually, when I and there's things in here. These are all parts of making the embedded process work. Like you have to have a user. Like a user is whoever is going to be the editor that is actually developing the report in Power BI, and then they have roles. And so these first two, a person that would log into this wouldn't see this, or actually these three, the user's roles and permissions. If I were to implement a login, which I'm not going to do yet, then these three disappear, and all they would see are actually these four would disappear, and all they would see is the whiteboard that they're allowed to work on, or all the whiteboards they're allowed to work on. So in this case, the workspaces. The users are all under one workspace collection today. If they decide to do more, like add more groups later on, then they'll have access to make changes here. Oh my gosh, I was wondering why my dog was freaking out. My fiance gave me some eggs, and she put them on the table, and now my dog is like running around like crazy. Anyway, yeah, I was trying to figure it out. And so anyway, so the workspaces, think of them as whiteboards, and the drawing that you put on the whiteboard is the embedded reports. The filters are exactly what you have on this right-hand side area. These are filters. Similarly, these are filters as well. And then there's some filters that only work with a certain workspace. So if I were to say like, say I had a visual of just something very, very specific to a company, then those visuals would only be available. The filters will only be available to that visual or report of visuals. Does that make any sense? Anyway, even if it doesn't, hold on a second. We're not concerning ourselves with this one at all. So the only three things that need to be in this admin page, if I'm a user and editor, I need to be able to see all my workspaces. I need to be able to see my embedded reports and my filters. So I'm going to click on these and show you what they are, and then kind of what they do. And then I know you're going to have questions, but I want you to understand that what I'm looking for is a better organization of a bunch of tables that I already have, or maybe just a better presentation of them. So those three things: workspaces, visuals, and workspaces, embedded reports, and filters. We need to be able to create a new workspace, and then once we create a new workspace, and basically that's like saying I'm creating a new whiteboard, and it's blank. And then all the items that go on that whiteboard are the embedded reports. And then any filters that the report can use, like the filter by company and all those things, need to also be available. So the way this works is you create a workspace, and I'm just going to run you through the process in like 10 seconds. So, and it could be named anything you want. Jacob's example. Access token. I'm going to rip this off. You won't see this because it gets auto-populated. And then the description of this workspace, I'm going to call it, this is a test. And where these show up, the workspace name and test is only in this admin tool. So when I create this, and workspace collection is only one because they're all in one collection today. That's the room that the whiteboards are in. Okay.
That also would not be there then. right?
Yeah. There's no need to, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in dev mode. Sorry about that. Yeah. So you only see the workspace name and description. That just tells the user what it is which whiteboard they're on. Now, here's what happens. It creates something called a workspace ID, which is the thing they need to actually embed a report. Workspace ID is like saying that this is the unique identifier of the whiteboard that you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the analogy going. All right. So right now they would have to copy that and then unfortunately go back to my list of things to do and then go to embedded reports. Now, obviously that's not ideal. We would basically want to do a wizard kind of approach where if they wanted to create a new thing, they would create a workspace. Okay, they're done. They would stay on the same page. That the next set of form items to fill out would be what you're about to see right here, which is this is the embedded reports. That workspace ID should automatically be populated in here, or even not even see it maybe, because it's like a continuation in the wizard. This data set name is the name, and they know this stuff. You don't have to be very specific about what that is, but it's the name of this this data that's coming out from here. They know how to do this, so you don't have to concern yourself with this part. Just know that they were going to have to fill something out there. And what that does is that this is the data set name. It's the name of the file that they're going to use. And what that does is tell the system where to get the data from. And I can change this to whatever data set names they happen to have, and it'll go try to get the data from there. The next thing,
and they will just have that. They'll know their
this.
data.
Yeah. You don't need to explain any of that part.
Okay.
Sorry, eating some eggs.
Okay.
Then there is a file that they're going to get. This file, this thing that just opened up here, is in a file called a PBIX file. You don't need to worry about what that is.
Yeah, I know what those are.
Oh,
I've
excellent.
opened
Awesome.
them in Power BI.
Yeah. So they have to get that file from their local desktop or their computer somewhere. So they would browse. Here's a file. And then the filters.
So, I mean, are they uploading it?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe it should say, upload PBIX file.
Yeah, I could say that.
Yeah.
Whatever makes the most sense to you. I will only veto it if it doesn't convey what we're trying to do. But this is exactly, you're actually right. It just needs, what these names are straight out of the database.
Yeah.
There's no, as you can see, this is the notation is a database convention. It's just spitting out the exact column name in the database. However, it could be whatever it is you want to say there. And then this create date, totally not useful because they're creating it right now. So it can get rid of that column. Start date and end date, that is important. So if you wanted a report to be available only for X number of time, like it's only applicable from January 1st till June, you would put a start date of whenever you wanted to start, and it doesn't have to be today. It could be later in the future. And then whenever you want it to end. And most people are going to say don't make it end, but you could do that. Then if you wanted to...
So I just want to... So those dates, that's when users can view this chart?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I want to think of a different way to say that because it's confusing because it almost made me think, is that the data in the chart?
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
um,
I can totally see that. The
like display dates or like you know user display dates or something
now the
like
other thing about this is the editors are going to get trained, and not only that, they have already set in Power BI. They've already set the limitations on the data set. They know everything about the data
that.
set. So
Right.
when they're getting this and putting this in, they already know I need, they know what their data is going to look like. The start range and the end range of any data, they have all that. We're not concerning ourselves with that. This is strictly for everything on this screen is about the visual showing up. When you starts to show up, when it's done showing up. Um, the page,
What about start displaying chart on
sure, whatever you want to
or
put there.
and stop displaying chart on?
I'm a fan.
Okay.
So then from there, the page is the actual page in the visual that you want to start with. Now today, I'm not looking at the visual to determine what if they're putting in an incorrect number. Heck, today I'm not even putting in whether they're putting a number in at all. But I'm not doing any checking on that. But
Wait, I'm a little lost here. How did we, what's going on here?
where?
The
What?
page. What are, I'm just lost.
Okay, so these guys are pages. Let's just quick terminology.
Oh, okay, okay,
This
yep,
whole
yep,
thing is an embedded report. The whole thing with all the pages. Think of it like an Excel file. The whole thing is the embedded report. A
yep.
visual is just this one thing. This is a separate visual than this. This is one thing. This is one thing. They
Hmm.
might work together, but one is one visual, one's another. Um, the page that you're on is unique. Is a unique page for each. Um, on each report. So if I'm on report XYZ page one, and I wanted to have that just page one to show it, nothing else, I would go in here and I would say page one. Right.
Okay. Can you
Um,
do multiple pages?
yes. 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 Today, no. Tomorrow, yes. um,
Okay, I'm just trying to see, okay, because before we were talking about, so back to the start date and start date and end date, maybe it should say start displaying report
right.
on,
Right.
right, and not chart. Okay.
Now, the one thing that's not here right now, and it's probably coming in the next few weeks, I want to alert you to, is that after a report is uploaded, we then are have the ability to analyze each visual. So I can say um, not just page, but I can also say show me just this visual on that page. But that's not today. Don't even worry about that. I just want to point out that eventually, after this file is uploaded, we can also on a following screen do further. I'm gonna kill this dog. Stop it. Stop it. Anyway, we can do further analysis on the actual page and get back the visual on the page. So on it, not this page, you wouldn't be able to do it here because the file would have to be uploaded first. And then once the file is uploaded on a following, you can say further, and maybe even page comes out of here. Maybe we just take page out of there too. As a matter of fact, let's do that. Let's take page off, strike it. It's not in there anymore. And then once we have hit like embed report, let's say this button might be named, then um, once we analyze the report itself, we can tell you, what pages you have, if you want to get rid of them or not. I'm envisioning in the future of this, once this report is uploaded, that we see the report on the screen,
Mhm.
and then a way to further customize it. Not today, but soon. But
Yeah.
let's just continue on with this real fast. So the striking page, the report name is pretty important because if you wanted to show up with a title, like if you wanted to say like, you know, um, Jacob's report, uh, it then, and the description is, this is a demo for Jacob, obviously. Um, these things also strike. Oh, sorry, this one and this one, because they're auto-populated. So I'll take those out. And all the things.
I'm just wondering, the name of a report, would a name be something like, I don't know, Malaysian innovations?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The name is just going to correspond to whatever you did over here. So if this happens to be partnerships by region, um, and you could have already filtered out some of these, and you could say like Asian partnerships by whatever, I don't know, region.
But like within that report, as I go through all the different pages, it could be different things all related to Malaysian innovations,
Absolutely.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it could go from partnerships to molecular targets to products, and it's all in one report with
Absolutely.
multiple visuals. Okay.
You got it. So the report URL is filled out by me. So don't even worry about that. And the report ID is filled out by me. So these are also, they would strike off. The token is something that either we can auto generate, or you can have the user fill out what it is they want to be in here. Like for instance, if I wanted to say, and then maybe auto generate is the only way we do it for today. But what I say, I wanted to just say like Jacob. That's my token. And when I click on create, what's going to happen in the background is what you happen to see my code right now. But in the background, it goes off and grabs uh, the report. It takes a while. You see how long that took to do. It grabs the report from my desktop, and that part's just an error that I'll fix. But it goes off and it does all that goodness and comes back. And now today, there is a report, and here it is. It's right here. This little this thing is available. So if I wanted to go see this report, I want to have in our admin screen a way to see it right then. In other words, just embed the report right on that page, and then also a link to like they have inside of YouTube, where here is the embed link. So if I wanted to take that report, let's look at that report. It's going to be the same as the one that just happened, one on the screen. But here is now that report, or it should be, and it's not there. But whatever it is, it's supposed to be there. But here would have been where that report is. Oh, there's some Power BI is down. But anyway, this is where the report would show up, and what we want to have in that admin screen is once you actually click on create the report, I would want to have the report actually show up within that layout of the admin screen, and then also a indication as to how to embed it in something else. So what you see here, this area is the same thing as this URL right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So fairly simple. And embedding, you can embed a report in anything, any HTML container tag, and a container tag is like an iframe, or a div is container tag.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
That is the
So,
whole.
I mean, just back to the token a token is like a shortened URL, sort of,
Um,
right?
it is a yeah. It's kind of like that. What it is really is um, it it's like the shortened URL. Call it that. Basically, it's a variable that says this is another name for that particular report.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just wondering like how useful it is here.
It, it it's
Um,
it's only useful because that's the only way you would get a report back. Um, to I'm not sure that giving the user the right to create their own token is a good idea. It's probably a
yeah,
bad
it just
idea.
kind of adds this extra layer of complexity. I understand giving them an embed code,
Oh, I know why
like
it
YouTube
broke.
does.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I think, somewhat savvy people are familiar with embed codes.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that's better than just, at this point, we're like, do you want to specialize and tweak your own embed code? That's just kind of pretty deep.
Yeah,
Um, I, you know,
I wouldn't do that. I agree. Just
yeah,
I think the best way to do this is just have the user create their own. Not to have the user create their own. Sorry about that. So yeah, so let's do that. Let's just have you know you can create whatever embed code you I can create one that is unique across the entire um, across the environment.
yeah, it just automatically generates an embed code. And then where does the embed code show up?
The embed code is like this thing is an embed code. So it's right.
Okay.
It's when I'm creating that one uh, visual and I type in Jacob, now here comes the visual that we just uploaded.
Right.
Right.
Right. I mean, just in the admin flow, back to those fields I was filling out, the embedded report admin screen.
Um, oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Um,
So the embed code is actually part of the URL which is generated. So you can't see because I can't scroll over. But if I can't scroll. Why is that? Nope. This screen is like the Microsoft like report
right.
generating screen that just spits out and it doesn't have the ability to scroll to the right. But the embed code is it just goes into the database into a table. And this happens to be the one that we just did. Um,
Right. Could we go back to the fields that we're filling out?
yeah,
Um,
here.
right. So we're going to get rid of this token
I would get rid of
field,
these bottom three. Yeah.
report URL, and the report ID. So we're getting rid of those. All right. So then we're going to click create, and then what happens?
We click on create, you end up back at today you end up back at this page. But
Okay,
what
great.
what what I want to have happen is once you click on create, I would like to see the visual, whatever the visual is,
Yeah.
knowing that it's there somewhere. And then I would also like to have a link to that visual on the screen. So if the visual is this, the report name, probably the report description up on the top here. And then here's an example of, I'll show you an example of one that I did. I think. You see, this is kind of using your, and I can put the report we just did, Jacob, in here. Sorry, that you used your name, but
So for this version, when I click create, is it taking us to a visual representation right away?
It can, and I prefer what I would prefer have happen is once you finish clicking out filling out the form, you came back and you saw something like this where it not
Yeah.
yeah where I saw you see the report, the name of the report here, the description, the thing we just filled out, maybe the filters that are on it. Uh, maybe they all all the metadata about the report shows up here that you're getting from here. So um, like the
Yeah.
workspace, the data set name, and blah, 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 the start and
Right.
end date, and the report name, but the report description. And remember, we're taking page out of this, so no page. And then we know who like I know myself, so I don't need my own user ID. Doesn't make any sense. I didn't explain what access type is. An access type, sorry about that, I missed that one, is where the report is available. So if it's available in BCIQ only and you can't see it outside of BCIQ, then here it is. If it's available externally to the world, then here is that. If it's available externally to a group, let's say, and we haven't explored what all this means, I just put different access types, but truth, if I clicked on like external protected, then I would expect to have a pop-up or something where there was a way for me to enter a password. Same thing for internal protected. And then internal, don't worry about that one. That's just internal to BioCentury domain. But
So could that be called report access options
yeah,
or
yep,
user access options?
mm-hmm.
User access options. Yeah.
Love it.
Okay.
I'm a fan. Okay, so the end result though is I would love to see um, the report itself, and then of course a way to go back and create a new one or to view the existing one. So if I'm done here and I've seen my report and that's awesome and I want to go ahead and create another one, I would click on like, you know, um, basically a way to start this process over again. You have to create a new workspace. Each report has to be in a unique workspace. These are tied together. Just so happens that this is just the step that you have to do to get a workspace ID back. So you can call this, create new workspace if you wanted to. That create new would be like, that would be the start of the process. Create new workspace. You get back this ID. With that ID, now you're filling out that the embedded report area here. So that once you say, get a workspace ID or whatever it is, bam, that populates this here. And then now these guys know how to fill out the rest of this stuff. And then filters, which is the last part, is a way to put into the database filters like this. Sorry, let's go to yours. Yours is better. Where'd it go? So if I was trying to put in like IPO as a filter condition on a financial report, the way to do it is, and this I haven't even checked. I wrote this code like 5 months ago, so I haven't checked to see what's working and what's not anymore. But in here, you have the ability to add filters to all reports, or if you saw in that workspace filters, you can add filters to just your report. So here, there's different ways to do it. One, you could just say that I'm filtering. Actually, you know what, Jacob? Let's just say filters, and we'll put something that says TPD or to be built or coming soon or whatever it is. But because I don't want them to have access to this on day one anyway. But what it is for you is you can create a filter that's going to display like this along this left menu. So
Right.
if I were to type in like the name of the filter, and this one says default filter, that would go here. That's the same as this, so it'd be IPO that I would type in. And then if I wanted to say what a description of that filter, what it does, I can do that. If I wanted to create an actual custom thing, like custom filter, like I say I want to filter like with a slider, um, then this is the actual HTML goes right in here and it's displayed. And then the um, the column that I'm filtering on, in this case, it's the create date, but it could be whatever columns in your database that matches exactly. And then this is just telling you what kind of filter it is. So like this is something that if the create date is in this particular range of values, then it shows. And a way of looking at this is if you look at your filters, finance is the name, the actual string of IPO, in other words, the word IPO is the actual um, um, value is IPO, and then the filter column in this case is I think it's called financing type or whatever it is. So this is the financing type is the area, and then the checkbox is um, the operator, which in this case is a bool operator. This one says contains. The operator in that case would say bool. And you don't need to know all that. And then the user hash, don't even worry, concern yourself with that. Let's just say don't at all. But when you create one of these, then it's available on that embedded reports list. So right now, default filter and financing type are the only two in there. But let's say, and so this obviously is a process that's not in the wizard flow of creating a report. It's more like a create filters for all reports or create filters for
Yeah.
just my workspace.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to confuse you with the filters today. Today for Friday, all we need is the first two. And then what I will tell them on Friday is, by the way, there is there's creating reports and there's creating filters. And, the next version of this will have the ability to create filters for your reports. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's a whole other thing for
It is
sure.
different. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. I wanted to alert you to the fact that you're going to have to give me some screen real estate somewhere that has that. So if I was to say, like, if you were creating this form, and then obviously somewhere at the end of the form, you would have a way to view a way to view this one visual, and then also a way to go back to see all your visuals. So you have to be able to create new, see all of them, and then edit them as well. So that the way I had this originally was, so here's my workspaces, and then obviously here are my reports, embedded reports. What I would do if I were you is I would say I would have a list of all my embedded reports, and then a way to create a new embedded report. And in creating a new embedded report, it would make you create a new workspace and then create a new embedded report. And then obviously a way, so you want to be able to see the report when you're done, and obviously embed a link. So have a link available. So this is a lot of talking, but if I was to write a spec, it would say um, be able to see all the embedded reports that are already existing for me, for my user, and then be able to create a new embedded report. And that would be the whole spec.
Hmm. Um, All right. Let me
List of
see.
list of reports, create a new report.
Right, right. Can you just walk me through from the beginning, quickly, step by step, the
Yeah.
flow? Because, all right, starting with workspaces, um, should that be, should the first thing that I do be create a new workspace?
Yes.
Right.
Now, how we say that, well, you could say create a new report, and then the first step is create a new workspace. But
Well, workspaces hold reports,
right,
right? Right.
right.
So could we go back just to that very first screen? So really the first thing I should see here, I think, is create a new workspace.
Right.
And then that's just kind of the one button. I do that, I'm in a new workspace, then I start to add embedded reports
Right.
in there.
Hmm.
And that's when it leads me to that field screen.
Right.
And it saves it in that workspace. So I can always keep going back to, like, the home screen can have multiple workspaces,
Right.
and that's kind of my map, and and to get to all my reports, I need to go into the workspaces that hold them,
Yes.
right?
Yes. You know
Because
what?
it's not like there's like floating reports and then workspaces over here. It's like workspaces hold reports.
But wouldn't you want to, if I wanted to go back and look at my reports, I wouldn't want to have to click on workspaces to see my reports. I would want to just be able to see all my reports. Um,
Okay.
that's just the way I see it, because the workspaces really, that is only for, it's like a container, and it's very, it's really for the system. The embedded
Mhm.
report is what they're trying to get to. So the to create a workspace is just a trivial thing they must do to create a report.
Right. It's kind of like rooms with whiteboards, right? I mean, so the room is the workspace, and I enter the room and I start creating reports in that room.
Right. That's for
Um,
the creation step. But when I'm going back to view them, let's just say I wanted to view all of my reports that I've created. I wouldn't want to have to know which workspace it was in. Unless in here, when you clicked in here, you would have a way in here to view also the reports under that workspace. So you could do that. You could say like, okay, I've clicked into all my workspaces. Here's the names. And then here's the report that's under that workspace. Um, you could do that, and that would totally solve the, you know, so that they're always doing the same thing over and over, whether they're creating a new one or viewing them. You could have, you could start off in workspaces, and then under each workspace have the actual report that's in it.
mhm. Yeah, organized by workspaces. Okay.
Right, right.
Okay.
So that you can do. And then again, at the end, I would leave the filters until the very, just to say that this is coming. I would, if you have
Mhm.
time to create a little area for them. I know you don't know much about them, but I would just say, if we're going to demo this Friday, I was just going to tell them, by the way, the next version of this will have filtering in it. Um, and they will understand what that is if you can't provide a visual between now and, like Thursday night or something.
Right. Um, so just for this whole thing, are we calling it the BCIQ admin tool?
Yes. Add BCIQ, it got to say something about Power BI and something, or visual something admin tool, because they have a lot of admin tools already. And the last thing we need to do is give them one with a generic name. Um,
Mhm.
let's call it BCIQ report admin tool, something like that. Or I can't think.
Report generator.
Report generator. Awesome. You have a career in branding.
Yeah. Um, BCIQ report generator featuring Power BI.
Yeah. Can you make it Flash? Just joking. Um,